Hey everyone, it's me, TG, in the flesh, and I want to welcome you guys to the first ever episode of Minecraft Therapy Edition. Basically, what this is going to be is I'm going to be talking about my feelings while building a Minecraft world in real time. So you'll be able to see the step-by-steps of me getting the materials, the step-by-steps of me building everything. And today's episode is mainly just focusing on building the exterior of the house. And trust me, this took a long time to get the exterior going. I don't know why it took such a long time, but the raw, unedited recording of this episode is 45 minutes long. Now, for those who don't know, this series is going to be similar to Trenton Talks, a previous series I did on a separate channel, where I'm going to be talking about my personal feelings with things. And it might either be internet drama, it might actually be my views on certain things, and it might be my personal experiences. And today I briefly want to touch on burnout and the concept of it. Since I don't know if you looked at this channel much, but getting burnt out is something that I definitely can relate to on a huge, mega scale. And I feel like burnout is just a thing that just naturally comes with every person, and it hits at certain points. Mine just happens when it hits, it stays for months and months on end, and I don't have motivation to continue it again. I feel like a perfect example of starting off is legit the channel you're watching this video on, TG0 Sugar. The amount of times where I've said I'm not planning to come back to content creation on this channel, but here I am. Sure, those live streams, right? But live streams are so easy to mass produce and get out, even if no one's watching it, where you can just go back in the VOD and look at what you missed. It's just an unedited YouTube video. But to my understanding, a lot of people don't like that, me included. I'm not the biggest fan of watching a live stream. I personally don't actually like watching live streams. I'd rather just have the video right in front of me. I'm like, okay, it's edited, it's good to go, it has the cuts, it has everything I would want to be looking for. Because you don't know how lives can happen and end up. Literally in a live one time, I got doxxed and I had to play it off. It's like, dog, I don't know, it's live, anything can happen, and I feel like that's just kind of it's cringeworthy, but in some ways it's definitely more I respect it more, because you have to be more willing to make mistakes, especially on live. But going back to burnout, I faced burnout the majority of my high school life. It was burnt out from actual high school work, which, if you don't know, I'm 19, I graduated last year, and the burnout got so severe that my grades were dropping to C's and D's, and in a little bit I had an E in one class, and I luckily got that up to a D. But the problem was with that burnout is I was so focused on content creation. This is going to sound so dumb, and I think someone else in the audience can relate to me here too. But I was so focused on content creation that I wasn't focusing at school, and that was worrisome. So through 2021 and 2022, well, 2021 through 2024, I guess, I took a backseat on content creation for the most part. Just focused on passing high school. And it also helped that I was starting to develop burnout from content creation as well. Because at this point, I've been doing YouTube for 6 or 7 years. Around this point, right? And views and algorithm shit can really affect a person's willingness to continue being on the platform, especially when a video isn't being seen by many, or it's not reaching the target audience you want. And that's kind of what happened with here. I would throw things, see if it'll stick, see if it'll land. It doesn't even attract the algorithm, and then I keep trying. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. So for most of this channel's identity is legit has been me trying to figure out shit. And every single time something wouldn't land, I would be so burnt out, and I'd be like, okay, time to move on to the next thing. And the problem with TG Zero Sugar towards the end of it is I tried so much shit at that point. Well, it wasn't working out. It wasn't getting picked up by the algorithm. It wasn't doing XYZ. And it was too much. So took a break because I was getting really burnt out of content creation. I say break in quotes. I was still doing my podcast Artificial, and I was doing Just Dance videos on a separate channel. But and I would tell you, this is the one thing that gave me passion back to be on TG Zero Sugar, especially with the Burnout thing. My Just Dance channel, right? All dedicated to the game Just Dance. Started doing well. It's started taking off in views. I've grown a community there, and I'm thankful for that. And I feel like that's kind of what's making me return here, to see if I can work on this, to see if I would want to still continue doing things like this on TG Zero Sugar, or just kind of leaving it dormant and mostly just a live streaming channel, like live engage with audiences. But recently I've also this is so funny though. I've recently started getting burnt out on live streams when I have like a British or an Irish accent. I recently started getting burnt out on live streams, didn't I? You bloke. I know this is supposed to be serious, but as you can tell, I don't take myself seriously. Honestly, I think it's better for this series, because if it has a dark undertone the whole time, then it's not really going to be fun to watch, I think. Or at least that's how I feel. That's how I personally feel anyways. But yeah, again, this is unscripted, so I'm going to go off on a bunch of side tangents. What was I talking? Okay, being burnt out from live streaming. It was like for like the past like 5 or 6 live streams, and I haven't been able to gather an audience at all, except for bots on Twitch when I want to play Fortnite. And it's like, hey, use my creator code. This is like soft motion, like through the whole entire like fucking chat, which is not necessarily great, but whatever. And so at that point, I'm starting to get bent out of live streams, right? And I'm like, okay, what's in my head? I'm going through, okay, what are things that I can do or I want to do? And I had this epiphany today. Is epiphany the right word? I don't know. I had this epiphany today, right, when I woke up, and I'm like, I really want to start this series on Minecraft where while people can watch the world build in time as I'm talking about my problems, because I don't have like a source of therapy, right? Like, I'm not the richest person in the world. I mean, I recently started a 3rd shift job, and I have stories I can tell from that. And if this series continues, stories I will tell. But it's like at a certain point, I just was like, a lot's getting too much for me. And so I'm making this more as an outlet to myself. I'm not worrying about views. I'm not worrying about algorithm. I'm not looking for this to blow up. If it does blow up, that would be insane. And if, the first episode gets a lot of views for no fucking reason, thank you guys, I guess. But it's like at the same point, I'm making this for myself. I'm making this as an outlet. And I'm making this so I can also get out of the current burnout I'm in, which is a burnout related to my podcast, the Artificial Podcast. I say my podcast, but over the last years that we've been doing it, it's gradually becoming more of a group thing, as in like, it's not just me anymore. I can't say it's my podcast. I can say it's mine, Jackson, Jordan's, Chandler's, Miles' podcast, because it truly is. We all play. Like, if one person leaves that podcast, then it's unbalanced. Like, we all complement each other so well. Like, sure, I'm managing more of the business side of things, and honestly, I do like doing that. I like getting the deals for Artificial. I like all the shit that we do for Artificial, including the shit that I have planning in my head that's gonna be expensive. But I'm recently have just started getting burnt out of editing Artificial. Not recording. Recording it is fine. But I can't. There's 2 episodes in the backlog that we recorded, right? It was supposed to be released this week as an Artificial 2-year anniversary special. And I physically can't get my head in the game to even begin to editing it. I haven't touched them. And they've been sitting in my my storage just for like 2 months, just sitting there, and it's just getting to a point with artificial where it's like I'm starting to get burned out, and I'm going to express this well here too, because for artificial we usually take breaks in between seasons, but for this season, and I will tell you why we take breaks. Okay, I always say it's for everyone's uh, sake, but it's usually for my sake, because I get so burnt out of shit really easily if I don't take a break from it, that it's like, to a certain extent, I had to take it. I had to force a mandatory break on artificial so I wouldn't get burnt out. And now, since that with that mandatory break on, I'm I'm burnt out, which is, it's really fucking funny in retrospect. But at the same time, it's like I can't get shit done. So I was thinking about hiring an editor for artificial, in all honesty, and I'll see where I go with that. Yeah, and I recently like started to realize that my burnouts are getting like really, really bad. Like even with like burnouts, even when I had burnouts on TGC Show, I was like, okay, I'll make something. Like there's 3 unreleased videos that'll never be released that I just recorded for funsies that I thought I was gonna post. They're fully edited, and I'm not gonna post them. And that's just because it was just like, hey, I wasn't having the most fun recording it. I don't think this is right for my audience to see. It's things like that. So my experience with burnout is personally a bad one. But I'm happy to say I'm slowly overcoming all my burnouts, and I hope to God we can get back to normalcy, I guess, on everything really soon. But yeah, that's my personal view with burnout, because burnout can just be such a barrier, and it's not a great thing to deal with at all, especially creative burnout. Creative burnout's the worst because you just get this brain fog, and you don't want to follow through with ideas you have. You don't want to like continue honestly to do most of the shit that you do, and it completely sucks as a concept. It just sucks. But yeah, I really want to know you guys' personal experiences with burnouts. So if anyone watching this, listening to this, whatever the fuck you're doing, has any experience with burnouts, please let me know down in the comments below, because I do read comments and I would love to see your guys' views on burnout as well. But that's going to do it for the first episode of Minecraft Therapy Edition. I know, it is a weird title. Again, all this was decided very last minute. In case you're wondering why my mic sounds bad, my microphone I've been using for like 4 years at this point broke, and I had to order a new one off Amazon. So it'll be here later. And there will be a noticeable change in the next episode. Just the first one, you're just gonna have to deal with it, unfortunately. But yeah, again, please let me know in the comments below anything related to this. Either the editing style, your concept of view of burnout, a line. And yeah, I will be also taking questions from audiences as well and trying to answer as many as I can in any episode that you leave questions for. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate people who've stuck around this long, especially since I haven't uploaded in like 4 or 5 months here. And it makes me happy to know, even if there's an audience small that's watching this, like 5 or 6 people, there's still people that remember me, even though I'm not the same person when I started this channel almost 10 years ago. Can you believe it? Next year will be 10 years of me doing this. It's now 9. Like, I'm 19. I started this channel when I was 10. You know how fucking insane that is? You can go back in old videos. You can just hear the voice gradually get deeper. It's kind of funny. But enough rambling for one episode. I'll ramble some more with you in the next episode. See ya.